Vladimir Putin's latest strike on a US-owned drone factory in Kyiv is being cast as a stark message to the West. Military analysts are now decoding the reasoning behind the attack on the US-owned facility, arguing that Moscow wants to deter foreign defense firms from producing high-end weapons for Ukraine on its own territory. The rhetoric suggests a challenge to Zelensky. Russia is saying Ukraine can't simply hide behind America. With this overnight hit on Terminal Autonomy's plant, Western weapons manufacturers are effectively on notice that their operations in Ukraine may be treated as legitimate targets. Russia's decision to strike a factory in Kyiv owned by a US corporation has raised eyebrows across capitals, as it appears to be the first time Moscow has deliberately hit infrastructure belonging to an American defense tech company in the war. A Russian military expert quoted by Sputnik has described the strike as a game-changer, arguing that it signals a new phase in which foreign-owned defense plants become fair game. During its late July barrage, Russia struck the Terminal Autonomy facility in Kyiv, hitting a major site for the production of AI-guided deep strike drones used by Ukrainian forces. Kiselyov said, and I quote, "Russia has made it clear that for Ukraine, hiding behind the American flag no longer works, and that any facility producing weapons used to kill our soldiers becomes a legitimate target, regardless of where its owner is registered. And the next such factory, wherever it is located, will suffer the same fate." End quote. Terminal Autonomy is registered in Delaware and produces AI-guided loitering munitions and precision strike drones, systems already in active use against Russian assets on the Ukrainian front lines. Kiselyov warned that after the Terminal Autonomy strike, Western companies must understand they themselves are potential targets if they manufacture weapons used to attack Russian forces, no matter where their headquarters sit on paper. The attack on the US drone factory came as Russia was launching broader barrages across Ukraine, and at the same time the US appeared to backtrack on its promise to let Kyiv build Patriot interceptors, adding another twist to the Western support debate. In a Financial Times interview, Trump said he was not sure whether the US would actually grant Ukraine the license to produce Patriot missiles, signaling that the decision is far from settled. These developments were reported by the Financial Times on July 30th, quoting the US president directly and putting on record his hesitation over giving Kyiv access to this technology. Trump told the FT that the Patriot is a very extraordinary weapon, and that Washington has to be a little bit careful of who we license to, framing his caution as a matter of technology control. Just weeks earlier, on July 10th, Trump had told reporters that the US would give Kyiv the right to make Patriots, a public statement that Ukrainian officials welcomed as a major step toward domestic production. Ukraine has repeatedly asked the US for Patriot systems and interceptors to shoot down Russian missiles and drones, arguing that such defenses are essential to protect cities and critical infrastructure. Estimates suggest US Patriot interceptor inventories have fallen to roughly 700-800 rounds as of July 2026, significantly reducing the buffer the Pentagon once had. Analysts say that's a drop of around 65% from pre-Iran war levels of about 2,330 interceptors, underscoring how intensive the recent fighting has been for US air defenses. The PAC-3 MSE interceptor variant has reportedly been among the most heavily used in the Iran war, as it is optimized for knocking down ballistic missiles and high-end aerial threats. Each Patriot interceptor costs in the ballpark of $4 million, and with over 1,200 used in the war, the financial and industrial strain on replenishment has become substantial. The U.S. Army's FY 2027 budget request calls for around 3,203 new Patriot interceptors, but deliveries are not expected until roughly 2029, meaning the stockpile will stay tight in the near term. Industry data indicate about 650 Patriots are produced annually, with roughly half earmarked to fill Allied orders, further limiting how quickly the U.S. can rebuild its own inventory while supporting partners. Trump's apparent backtrack comes amid a recent escalation between Iran and Ukraine, including Iranian threats after Ukrainian actions against Iranian assets, which complicates Washington's calculus on advanced air defense transfers. Iran weighed a retaliatory strike after the Caspian cargo ship attack blamed on Ukraine, according to the New York Times. Tehran reportedly considered launching a missile strike against a Ukrainian port on the Black Sea, the report said. Iranian officials viewed the proposed attack as a symbolic response to the deadly strike on the Iranian commercial vessel. The New York Times said such a strike could have widened the conflict because of Iran's close strategic ties with Russia. However, diplomatic contacts between Iran and Ukraine reportedly helped reduce tensions and prevented immediate escalation. Ukraine reportedly told Iran during a phone call that the strike on the cargo ship had been unintentional. Following the call, Iran's foreign minister said Tehran did not seek further escalation but demanded restitution for its losses. Iran also held diplomatic discussions with the European Union as part of broader efforts to reduce tensions, according to reports. Defense Express said Iran possesses ballistic missiles capable of directly reaching targets inside Ukraine if ordered to do so. The outlet said the Garda, Emad, and Sejal ballistic missiles each have reported ranges of around 2,000 kilometers. Defense Express also said Ukraine lacks THAAD and Arrow missile defense systems designed to counter such long-range ballistic threats. Iran had earlier warned Ukraine of consequences following the ship strike that killed an Iranian sailor in the Caspian Sea. Ukraine's Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha held what he described as a frank phone conversation with his Iranian counterpart on July 28. The call followed Iran's accusations that Ukraine attacked an Iranian commercial vessel in the Caspian Sea. Kyiv maintains that its July 25 drone operation targeted Russian vessels allegedly transporting military cargo. Ukraine insists all of its military actions are focused solely on defending itself against Russian aggression.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest newsmakers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Have you ever wondered what happens when a banking dynasty meets tides of world history, intrigue, and a dash of myth?
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.